KC0VI Tom here, out here on the back door in the parking lot here for the, as I always give TLJ a hard time, this is where the Dirt Boys park. We had a little snow overnight. We'll try to take you along and our cleanup here, you know, in St. Ansgar. This storm started out as part of that atmospheric river that hit the California coast, gave them plenty of rain and snow in the Sierras, which they desperately need. Then it kind of cut across with the four corners up to the plains up here to Iowa. Yesterday we were pretty much under a winter storm watch for most of the day. Then late in the afternoon it switched over to a warning, and it's still going to be in effect for I think a couple more hours, then that expires. And I believe we're under a winter weather advisory. We'll spin around here, show you what we got. When I let the little doggy out, I measured 5 inches of snow. And again, that's up close by the house, I'm sure it was protected. And when we get out here, we'll take a better measurement and at the snowboard and see what we really got. If you don't know, I do belong to the it's not the co-op, it's part of the National Weather Service's volunteer group that we do every morning we do a rainfall measurement, snow pack measurement, and any snowfall we measure the snowfall and get the quantity of moisture or water out of the snowfall. We'll take you along for that here when we're all done, but what we'll do now is we'll get the tractor out with the blower on, try to bring you along. We'll probably be switching over to a voiceover due to the fact that the tractor is quite loud and the vibration. Never done this before, so this could be interesting. So let's go play in the snow. Oh, and the other thing for you southern people, like I said, this was announced pretty much a day or two ahead of time. I got home from work yesterday about 5 o'clock here in St. Ansgar. I had to go to the post office to get my mail. Drove by the grocery store. There was 2 cars out front. Okay, and when I drove by the gas station, there was a guy there filling up a gas can, probably for the snowblower. I did that the other day due to the fact when they first started talking about, I got 2 cans I try to keep full. When I get done with the first one, I always try to get that refilled before I get halfway through the second one. But no panic buying, no mass hysteria. Wasn't a run on bread and milk or butter. Probably a run on beer. I notice I don't have my red label anymore down at the local grocery store. Talked to the manager and he's going to check into that, see what the problems. But let's go play in the snow. Here we are in the cab of the snowblower, and it started out real good. Then we started hitting some bumps and the vibration. The GoPro cannot just hold steady. The mount kept bouncing around. A lot of activity in the cab here. You got one hand running the steering wheel. The other hand is adjusting the discharge chute of the snowblower and the amount of pressure pushing down on the blower. And your right leg is running the throttle, your speed of the hydrostatic, and it wasn't really working good. We'll switch over to this camera that shoots down into the front yard. You get a little better view here of what's going on. When I came around the corner here, I shut off the auger because there's some stuff down there I didn't want to accidentally catch. Then I fired the auger back up and got it going here. We'll switch over to the sidewalk camera. This shoots down there. You get a lot of activity on here. It's got a good view when we come back up with the snowblower. We'll come around the corner here where the other camera will pick us up. This is the front parking area. I like to get started early on the snow removal after a storm before people have a chance to drive on the street, pack it down, or walk on the sidewalk. Also, if the temperature starts getting a little warm, the snow will start melting and causing the water content to go higher, and it makes the snow heavier and hard to move. It can be a fairly good workout on the engine, the drivetrain, and the auger of the snowblower, and that's when you're going to break something. And the other side is normally behind a snowstorm we get some Arctic air coming in, and it's not really fun inside that cab. It's unheated when it's -5 or -10 degrees. So get an early start before traffic gets out there too bad, and you can really get going here. Another reason to get the snow done right away is in the afternoon when the sun comes out, or the next day. Normally you get that blast of Arctic air behind the snow and it clears off the skies. That little bit of sunshine will actually cause the snow to melt off and get you down to the black top surface or the concrete surface. Wind is very light today, so I can run the discharge chute almost straight up, so I can really toss that snow up into the air and let the little breeze carry it away. You got to be a little careful on that so the snow doesn't drift back over where you just got done clearing out. I also like to cut one extra path alongside the blacktop in the concrete, exposing the gravel side of the dirt. That way in the springtime when we have melting going on, that area is already unfrozen and the water can actually drain off from the blacktop and into the dirt. I always do the neighbor's driveway across the street. It's a nice area to turn around since this is a dead end. their driveway has actually got a slight incline to it. So if you drive into the driveway trying to plow, the snow blower actually will right up on top of the snow. If I go from the garage door to the street, as the driveway is going up, the blower can actually dig in and actually get right down to the hard surface, blacktop and the concrete. This section is almost done. The other thing I like to do once I'm out here doing is run up and down the side of the road, make sure the road is all the way open to the sides, and again exposing that area alongside the blacktop so when we do have melting, it will drain into the ground. Start clearing off a little work area here in front of the house. This is a southern exposure. Get a lot of sun on that roof, and if I'm not careful, you can get some fairly good ice dams and icicles here. So what I like to do while I'm out here is take the roof rake and rake off probably 20 or 24 inches from the eave trough up, up to the roof. You don't have to rake the entire roof off, just that first, like I said, 20 inches. That way when the sun comes out, it'll warm up the shingles. As that water is draining down from the snowpack, it'll actually start to evaporate off into the air from the warm shingles. And boy, when it comes off the roof, it can get really packed down. It's a lot easier with the snowblower than with the shovel. Spend a couple minutes here clearing out the patio. I like to do that because in the springtime, it's actually kind of nice in the springtime. Sit out here in the lawn chair, enjoy the fresh air of the springtime. As you can see, the neighbor man Roger just roared by with his snowblower. He has a couple customers he takes care of. He does lawn work in the summertime and snow removal in the wintertime. Gotta be a little careful here so I don't back off the edge or get too far on the other side and hook something. There are still some plants that are growing alongside the edge of the patio. Down at that corner where I'm at right now, TLJ was actually planting a lot of catmint. That cats really like it, so I got to be careful of that. Do not want to get that in trouble with the cats by ruining their catmint. We'll get spun around here and start heading for the back and do the back parking lot, and we'll be done. First thing I do is get both cars unplugged and get the snow removed from the roof of them. I like to use a floor broom that has some real soft bristles. I start at the roof of the car, work my way up to the nose, careful not to hook the antennas or the windshield wipers, then go back to the roof and work my way to the tail end of the car. Hit the side windows on both sides, and I'll start the car up to let the heaters catch up and get them nice and warm and the windows defrost. Any ice that are on the windows by then will give a chance to get melted a little bit, so I can scrape those if I have to. We'll get the volt moved out of the way here. Then next will be the bolt, and the van will be out of the way too. Usually I park them at the end of the property in the alley. That gives me a little extra room so to run the blower up and down to do a little cleanup in the alley if I miss something. This next section is quite interesting and fun. As you can see where the cars are at, it's bare gravel, and when you push the snow off the cars, it compacts quite deep and it's hard packed snow. So as the blower comes in here and hits that hard packed snow, it'll actually get pulled in one direction or the other. So you run the chance of running into the RV or the building. Then when you come across the area that has no snow, the bare gravel, you run the chance of throwing rocks and gravel and dirt against the building or the RV. So speed is very important to maintain a certain speed. If you're slowing down and you're afraid you're going to get stuck, you get a little modulation on the hydrostatic control to speed up. If you're coming in too fast, you run the chance of hitting the RV or the building. So you got to be on your toes all the time. Both electric cars are quite fun to drive in the wintertime and are quite very reliable. Both cars have been driving quite a few years now in the winter. I have not been stuck once. The Bolt here, battery weighs roughly 900 pounds and it's mounted low, so the center of gravity is very good. The Volt battery is a little smaller, weighs about 400 pounds. And again, I've been pushing snow at the front bumper on both cars on the way to work in the wintertime. That took just a little over an hour. It's pretty heavy wet snow, and we'll go out. I got my official measuring stick. We'll go out. Back here, the cars are back where they belong. I got Nina, Volt, charging. We'll walk around front. Johnny is parked over there, nursed his spot. When you live on a dead-end alley, one thing I do for the city is kind of help keep it cleared. As you can see, I'm the only one that uses it, so it's kind of hard for them when they get down or you get turned around with all our stuff. So the snowplow driver doesn't really mind. And where the buildings used to be, there, we used to have a path I would blow down this way, and little doggy's still having a little hard time going there, and there's no path anymore. No, don't need to go that far out. Over here, gotta be careful. The what snow we had is really icy. Turned to ice, and it's really slippery. Somewhere underneath this red flag is my snowboard. No, that missed a snowboard. Missed it again. Must be over here. I know it's somewhere in here. Mr. Snowboard. Huh. I thought it was... Here it is. Got kicked over the side here. Looks like about 5.5 inches. Yeah, I kicked some over there. So I would say we got 5.5 inches. And what's on the ground is probably almost 9. We'll say 9 because we're getting stuff. Yeah, here's our snowboard. And what we do is after we make a couple of measurements, take the average, clean it off, get it closer to the flag so I can find it easier. And the rain gauge here, we'll take this inside, set it in the sink, measure the amount of water that's in there. Let's get inside. It's 28 degrees outside, still snowing. I'm not sure if it's picking up on the camera or not. I did not put the gimbal on because this is going to be a quickie icky and out of here. The new path that I cut to go around the building is in there, and that works pretty good. And let's get inside and measure this water. Okay, we took the rain gauge there and put it in the sink over there full of water, melted it, and put the contents in our rain gauge. And it looks like, make sure, it's kind of hard to do one-handed. Looks like we got about 0.48 of inch of moisture in that water out of 5.5 inches of snow. That's fairly high water content. As you can see, the patio's kind of nice getting the tractor up here. You get the patio cleaned off a lot easier than shoveling. I raised the blower, let it run on the landscaping ties. You get this, and I come back with the shovel and just scrape the paths off. We got the front area, the neighbors cleaned off. The city dropped a snowplow at the corner. They redid that corner there. It's a little tighter than it used to be. If you would have done that last year, you probably would have rolled it. Now the ditch isn't as deep. Not sure how the mount in the cab works till I get to editing. I'm going to try to take some video off from the cameras, shooting down the sidewalk and out front, fill in some places. But up here in the snow country, this is how we take care of the snow. It's not a panic. It's not a, oh my God, it's Snowmageddon. 5.5, 6 inches of snow, and it's still snow. We'll probably get another inch out of this. I'm going to make something warm to eat. Get the mail. Got to refill the bird feeders. 7-3, everybody. It's not that horrible up here in the North Country, you Southerners. Be sure to tell your friends, neighbors, other hams. Subscribe, hit that bell to get notification when new videos come out. Add comments below. 7-3, everybody.